And welcome back in the Life Science track. I hope you enjoy the keynote speaker on the stage too, but we're back in the life science world. So let's get started this session with experts in radiation oncology at Mayo Clinic that treat more than 7,000 people who have a wide variety of cancer each year. They work closely with medical oncologists, surgeons, and other doctors to coordinate the most appropriate care for patients, how to handle such extensive data. Two amazing individuals from Mayo Clinic are going to present their innovative solution on improving radiation oncologist workflow. It's my pleasure to welcome Molly Watts, Senior Statistical Programmer, and Aaron Bogan, Senior Biostatistician from Mayo Clinic.
Thank you. It's great to be here. We appreciate the opportunity to present. This is one of the larger projects that we've done. This app was developed in response to a need within Mayo Clinic's Radiation Oncology Department to understand and utilize electronic health record or EHR data from about 70,000 cancer patients that have been treated across more than 2 decades. The primary goal was to provide summarization, filtering, and visualization of this substantial patient record database to help providers more easily make evidence-based clinical decisions in treating cancer. We are Mayo Clinic's data visualization team. I'm Aaron, I'm the lead biostatistician. Mike, our senior developer, who's not presenting with us, but is front row in the audience there. And Molly is our senior programmer, who will be presenting here in a minute after I get done with the overview. Our team of coders and developers use R and R Shiny daily to develop and maintain custom solutions for data capture, manipulation, and visualization, as well as process automation. We work with clinicians, statisticians, administrators, really anybody at Mayo Clinic with data management challenges across a broad array of use cases. We help our clients find efficient and creative solutions to their specific problems by working to understand their individual needs and then using our unique skill sets to craft custom software solutions to meet those needs. So the specific project we're highlighting today is called the Outcomes Research Feasibility Dashboard, or we just call it Outcomes for short. Outcomes is the name of the source patient database Mayo Clinic's Radiation Oncology Department wanted to utilize more efficiently. As been mentioned, it houses data for over 70,000 patients that was collected over a 20-year span. The database is populated from Mayo Clinic's data lake, and it's updated daily. It includes demographic information, diagnosis and treatment data, clinical and oncological outcomes, patient-reported outcomes or survey data, tumor data, radiotherapy planning data, and a lot more. The initial goal was to provide radiation oncologists a user-friendly interface to sort and search the patient database to aid in conducting retrospective medical research. So for example, let's say we've got Dr. A, and she has a hypothesis concerning the effectiveness of proton versus photon radiotherapy for prostate cancer patients. We were contracted to create a tool that would allow Dr. A to easily sort all available patient records using criteria relevant to her research idea, so she can quickly see if there is sufficient patient data in the database to test her hypothesis. Additionally, we wanted to provide informative visual and tabular summaries to help clinicians gain better insight into this rich health record database. So once Dr. A filters and sorts her patient cohort, she can begin to see patterns in the summarized patient data that will help shape her research hypothesis. The end game here is to provide improved patient care by making physician access to and interaction with patient data more efficient. So a bit of background on the process that took us from problem identification to application deployment. The project took us about 18 months from concept to deployment. We met with end users routinely during all phases of development to gather feedback and suggestions. This was a key component to ensuring we met the client's actual needs as opposed to what we thought was needed. A significant challenge up front was radiation oncology's breadth of clinical coverage. Radiation oncologists treat cancers throughout the body, so we had to understand the unique needs of multiple disease sites: head, neck, central nervous system, lung, breast, prostate, etc. These are called disease groups, and radiation oncologists typically specialize in one or a handful of them. The data challenge stems from the fact that some data may be vital in understanding cancer treatment in one disease site, but have no applicability at all in another. For example, prostate-specific antigen, or PSA, is an important indicator of prostate cancer, but has no meaning for breast cancer at all. We had to customize the application of each disease group's unique needs. This involved customized data cleaning and grouping for each disease group, as well as presenting and summarizing this data in meaningful ways. Regular client meetings and feedback were significant components that helped us meet this challenge. Although not in the initial project scope, we were made aware through these meetings that data download was going to be key to end user satisfaction. This added an increased need for access security. In addition to application access control, user activity and logging would be necessary for accountability. We accessed Mayo Clinic's employee database to verify user access and created a separate REDCap database, automatically recording any data downloads initiated through the app. So this is a broad overview of the application. We access EHR, Electronic Health Record Database, using SQL code that runs via cron automatically every week. We similarly access Mayo Clinic's HR database to maintain and update access control and personalized data access logs. This automatic data pull is followed by cleaning and processing scripts that combine and write all data to the app uses to a single list object that is pinned to Mayo's internal POSIT Connect server. The app itself is also deployed on the server, but we only redeploy it on an as-needed basis when we have requested changes, updates, or enhancements, etc. Users inside Mayo's firewall can enter the app's URL and attempt access. Users' LAN credentials are automatically compared to the approved access list, and individuals without access are routed to an access denied landing page with details on how to request access. Validated users are routed to the dashboard landing page, which Molly will demonstrate shortly. Approved users who wish to download patient data must indicate the nature of their download request, be it research, quality assurance, clinical, etc., and provide relevant supporting details, either an IRB number or something along those lines. Once the download is initiated, the filtered patient data is converted to an Excel file and downloaded to the user's default download directory. On the back end, the application records the user's identity, date and time of the download, and relevant supporting details. Again, IRB number, type of download, etc. This data is automatically logged in a REDCap database via REDCap API. So next, Molly is going to take over and she'll demonstrate the application in real time. To protect patient privacy, we created a demo version of the app that displays a simulated anonymized patient data set. So take it away, Molly.
Thank you, Erin. I appreciate it. Can everyone see my screen? Awesome. So the first tab is the landing page that Erin was discussing. You'll notice that it does capture the user's name and specifically their employee ID to make sure that they have access to the dashboard. And it's really just the landing page is great for letting people know the instructions on making sure they're in the right place and how to utilize this dashboard, as well as providing them any contacts if they have questions. The next tab is the overall summary, and this is the tab that summarizes the registry as a whole. This helps leadership make decisions on the future state of the department, of the research that they may be doing, as well as the registry. It also helps them make decisions on information they may want to add to the registry or that they may want to clean up or QA. We provide counts for our physicians, as well as descriptive statistics on demographics and diagnoses. You'll notice we also provide interactive plots that allow our physicians to drill down into the data to answer any questions that they may have. We also provide information on the treatments available, including dosing and frequencies and the types of treatments, as well as surveys or patient-reported outcomes. This really helps users understand the data that is available in the registry. The next tab is really where a lot of the heavy lifting is done. Sorry, it defaulted to go to the bottom. We first asked users to input basic filters like disease site or disease group, locations, and treatment start and end year. That's just because our database is so large. It really helps us start to narrow down that cohort so we can provide faster, cleaner data and summaries. Because we met with groups individually, that allowed us to provide each disease site with specific filters and specific data that was important to them. For example, when we filter to the breast disease site, we have specific filters for them based on estrogen receptor status and histology. And again, that was grouped and cleaned based on their needs as a disease team. We provided a reactable table for our users to easily see the data to ensure that the data is what they are expecting. Specifically, since this data is pulled directly from the EHR, it's not always the most clean because we don't have a ton of human interaction. So sometimes there are repeating rows based on multiple treatments or multiple diagnoses or staging. So the reactable allows users to easily see where there may be duplicates and where data may need to be cleaned after the fact. Reactable is also great because it allows them to filter anything that we may not provide above. We also provide plots for our users to see the data at a glance for the cohort that they have filtered down to. And they can choose to see plots on the patient demographics, diagnosis, treatment, and surveys that follow the same structure as the second tab. Once they get to their cohort of interest and they've answered all of their questions that they have, they can then download the cohort that they would like if they would like to clean it and use it for further research. We ask them basic questions like Erin suggested of IRB and what their the use case is. Once they have entered this information, we allow them to download the data. And again, this goes to their default downloads, and then we track that in a log line form of the REDCap. Our last tab really developed from the user's need. They really wanted this application to function similar to an application they previously had. So the DG summary tab was great for each DG as a whole, but sometimes they do research across DGs, or they'll have a cohort that they've already designated from previous research, and they'll want to know what that data looks like and what data is available for those patients. So we allow users to filter based on the campus, the disease ICD codes, and the MRN or the patient identifiers, and they can provide us a list. And again, that download feature works the exact same way as the DG summary tab, asking them the IRB, what the use of this data pull is, and then they can download that data into their downloads. So that is what our application is like as a whole. And it's been great for our users, really suits their needs. And we've enjoyed learning about how they're using it and to make clinical decisions and further research in the department. Seems like we have about 5 minutes for questions.
We do, and we have some questions in the queue. So let's start with the first question from Harlan. Can any clinicians outside of Mayo access? How do you handle that?
That's a good question. Currently, our application is within the firewall to protect patient safety and PHI. The application that we showed you today is based off of simulated data, and we've removed all PHI, so to protect patient safety. So currently, this application is only used within the department. We actually don't even allow the entire organization to access it based on our user agreements within the registry. So currently is just internal.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you so much. How do you manage the data quality for such a large database? It might be challenging. So how did you manage to ensure that the patient data is accurate, unified, or any other pre-processing or curation you're doing?
It's a huge team effort. We have an IT team that basically their job is to farm the data lake and then feed into. So a lot of the cleaning from the really super messy EHR is done on their end. After their processing, there is still a lot of inaccuracies. And so it's a work in progress. And part of the beauty of visualizing this data is we've had physicians that went, oh my goodness, we're recording this in a way that's not efficient. And so it was honestly one of the most exciting parts of the project for me was to see physicians realize the way that they were entering data into Epic, which is the current system for Mayo, was causing inaccuracies on the back end. And so having them to see that, again, the visualization aspect of this is huge, allowed them to take that idea back to other practitioners and their colleagues and fix it.
Thank you so much. We have another question from Hubert. Is the source data from the EHR or combined with other data sources?
Source data is from the EHR at Mayo, exclusively Mayo. And so 3 Mayo sites, Arizona, Rochester, and Jacksonville. And so from all 3 sites that's centralized, it is exclusively Mayo Clinic data, however.
Yeah, and we do combine data from our Epic source as well as ARIA, which is a radiation oncology specific software that includes more of the complexities that the department requires.
Mm-hmm. Are you considering making the demo source code base available publicly, or it will be also hidden private?
We don't own it, and so it's Mayo's property. So I mean, you would have to contact them and go through legal.
Okay.
We could possibly store pieces of it. I know somebody requested the access piece. We could definitely share that piece, but the whole code is not, because it does have some proprietary links and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Understand. And how do you manage to add new features to this app? Let's say another analysis is needed, or someone from this study team comes and say, okay, I need to use that data and prepare a different report. How you would handle it in this app?
Yeah, quantitative health sciences is the entire department of Mayo Clinic statisticians and researchers and data scientists. And so typically the workflow is a radiation oncologist would have a research idea. They would go to this application to validate on their own whether or not they have a sufficient cohort to be able to evaluate that. They would look at the data. The download part of it gives them a way to look at it at a closer level, more granular. And at that point in time, they would contact a statistician from quantitative health sciences in Mayo Clinic to continue to pursue. And that's when the analysis phase of it begins. This application was never designed for modeling. So it's just there for feasibility and also to answer maybe basic clinical questions that a clinician may have.
And if there's ever changes to the registry as a whole, say they add 10 new variables that they want to summarize, we do have a small protected amount of maintenance time that we work with the registry team as well as clinicians to make sure that everyone is agreeing on how that data should be added and summarized. So then we do that on a rolling basis.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, we're getting ready for a phase 2, having a meeting probably within the next month, getting together with the overall research team. Now that they've had, I guess about a year now to work with the application since its rollout, bringing all that feedback in and then looking at the next phase of building.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and you're dealing with a very sensitive data, and you mentioned like it's securely secured. What are the main principle you make this data secure apart from restricted access? Are there any other solutions that you implemented?
That's a good question. The department, the radiation oncology department, has specific data use guidelines that if they want to pursue further research, they have to get approved through certain committees. So that's all displayed on that landing page so people know, as well as references that they're expected to use if they use this data. So that's the biggest thing, is we're really depending on users to follow those guidelines. And we also log how often, and the registry managers do track and see if there's Dr. X who's downloading data on a daily basis. They can go talk to him and be like, hey, is there something that this isn't meeting your needs for?
And the access restrictions are huge. I mean, everyone that has access to this database is a research professional and in most cases physician. And so for the physicians, it's their data. I mean, they're the ones that collect it. They're the ones that enter it. And so the lion's share of people who have access to this app have been responsible for feeding the data into the system, and they treat patients as well. So, I mean, just keeping it behind the Mayo firewall is the big thing for protecting patient information, and then the access control will be the secondary layer.
Okay, thank you so much. One last question from me. What was the biggest challenge while developing the application?
For me, it was so many cooks in the kitchen. We had just so many radiation oncologists that provided feedback, which was great because we learned more about the clinical side and the data side, but was just hard to meet everybody's needs. And then as everyone, it's just messy data, which is good in some ways and harder to manage in others.
And I mean, from the technical side of it, I mean, there were just numerous problems, and so it was a divide and conquer. Michael Lefsher is our lead developer, who's not with us in presentation. He's just an excellent problem solver. And so between the three of us, Mike, Molly, and myself, we're stubborn. And so the harder the problem is technically, the more that we just don't sleep until it's taken care of. So, but yeah, I mean, definitely the client side of it is the most challenging thing in development, because you have so many type A personalities that are very passionate about what you're doing and may or may not understand the technical limitations that you have. Now, having open source software makes life a lot better. So, I mean, there is that.
Okay, thank you so much, Molly and Aaron. Great app, a great presentation, and looking forward for the further steps for your app and the research. Thank you so much for joining us today.